Good afternoon. Thank you for being here today. Joining me is the Honourable Steve Kent, who's amongst his other duties, is Minister responsible for the Office of Public Engagement. As you know, over the past number of weeks, the provincial government is taking a long, hard look at how we can best serve the people of the province. We announced in January that we would launch an early independent statutory review of the Access to Information and the Protection of Privacy Act, commonly known as ATIPP, or the ATIPP Act. This review will include the entire Act, as well as amendments that were made to that Act through Bill 29 in 2012. As a basic principle, people have a right of access to government information. But this right, indeed as are rights that are set out in the Charter of Rights and Freedoms, rights are not absolute, but they're subject to reasonable limitations that are prescribed by law, as can be demonstrably justified in a free and democratic society. So we want to ensure that our legislation supports this very important principle. Access to information and protection of privacy legislation balances the right of the public to access to information while upholding the protection of personal and private information. We sought to achieve a balance, both with the original legislation and with the 2012 amendment. We have been told, however, by people that there are concerns with that balance, so we've therefore initiated an early review of the current legislation. Government wishes to ensure that the province has a strong statutory framework for access to information and protection of privacy, which, when measured against international standards, will rank amongst the best. We believe in the principle of opening up the government to those who own it, the people of Newfoundland and Labrador. So we've been working diligently over the past weeks to assemble a committee that will do the review of the legislation, and a committee that will leave no doubt about our commitment to achieve the highest standards of access to information and protection of privacy in this province. We sought people with expertise in the areas of governance, journalism, and access to information and privacy law. The committee will include Jennifer Stoddart, Doug Leto, and the Honourable Clyde K. Wells, who will chair the committee. Ms. Stoddart is a former Privacy Commissioner of Canada. Mr. Leto is a respected veteran journalist with over 30 years' experience. And Mr. Clyde K. Wells has had a distinguished career as a lawyer, a former Premier of Newfoundland and Labrador, and Chief Justice of Newfoundland and Labrador. These individuals have been selected to help ensure we have, or to make sure that we complete a meaningful review and a thorough review and an impartial and independent review that will achieve a balanced statutory framework that will serve as a model for other jurisdictions. With such a committee in place, the people of the province can have full confidence that the review will be conducted, as I said, in an independent, impartial, and thorough manner. So now I'll call upon Minister Kent, the Minister responsible for the Office of Public Engagement, to provide more details.
Thank you, Premier. And as you just mentioned, I think confidence is an important word for us to be using in describing this panel that we are appointing. Although the panel is comprised of individuals from different backgrounds, they share something very much in common. They are equally respected in their chosen fields, and they have made incredible, lasting contributions to society. We're very fortunate to have Jennifer Stoddart, a former Privacy Commissioner of Canada, who has endeavored to make all Canadians, including young people, more aware of their privacy rights. She's a privacy leader nationally and internationally and has overseen a number of important investigations, including those concerning privacy policies and practices related to social media. Along with Ms. Stoddart, we also have representation on the panel from a key stakeholder in the discussion, the media. As we've been hearing from some reporters, the review must focus on the overall effectiveness of our access to information and protection of privacy legislation, which includes the amendments that were made through Bill 29 in 2012. Seeking experience in this area is why we're honored to also have Doug Leto on this committee. A veteran and accomplished journalist with over 30 years of experience, Doug was an exceptional political reporter and host with CBC's Here and Now, and is currently a communications consultant. As part of this review, the committee will examine leading national and international practices, along with legislation and academic literature related to access to information and protection of privacy legislation. I can't think of a stronger, more qualified individual to take a lead role on this front than Clyde Wells. A former premier, Mr. Wells has had an extensive legal and political career. As many of us remember, he also became a major figure on the national political stage at the time of the Meech Lake Accord and helped move discussions that led to the development of a set of constitutional proposals known as the Charlottetown Accord. As committee chair, Mr. Wells will be an invaluable leader, and his extensive experience will be relied on to ensure that the review is as comprehensive as possible. Ultimately, we look forward to a well-informed review which will result in legislation that is built on the primary principle of openness, and a review that will engage citizens and stakeholders in a meaningful way. In accordance with Section 74 of the Access to Information and Protection of Privacy Act, and as the Minister responsible for this Act, I am pleased to officially refer it to the appointed committee for review.